What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video from Mr. Gray's Talk Room. I'm your host, Christian Gray. Today, I want to talk about the desire blueprint. How to make a woman desire you. How to make it that every time that she is not with you, all she wants to do is be with you. And it's a good problem to have. But before I get into that, I do want to go back to why I haven't been able to upload a video. So recently I found one of my old iPhones, and this is the iPhone 6 or 7, I can't remember. And I tried using this other than my actual phone. I don't even know where my other phone is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I was trying to use my iPhone to record my videos, but because I have a PC and I don't have a Mac, I had a lot of issues trying to convert the movie to an MP4 to then edit it, and it just became a big ordeal. And nevertheless, I'm trying a new setup. As you can see, I have the headphones with the microphone on. I'm using my laptop webcam, and then I'm going to be using a separate webcam. So I want to get your feedback on this, whether you like this setup or the original setup, which was pretty much at the table. Just let me know which one you prefer. That the insight in terms of the audio and video quality, that's what I'm trying to expand on what I currently have. So nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into today's segment. So today's February 6th, right? In December, like the beginning of December, the first weekend, and I have to talk about it. My girlfriend at the time, she's my girlfriend again now, but because they always come back. They always come back to daddy. They know who Papi is. My girlfriend made the executive decision to leave me. And I was perfectly okay with it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that it didn't hurt. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I wasn't bummed out or I didn't have a low mood because my girlfriend broke up with me. I'm not sitting here and telling you guys if you have a breakup that you're not supposed to feel. But the difference between feeling and acting out on your emotions goes back to, do you have homeboys or your close male guy friends that you can count on if your girlfriend or your fiance or if your wife decides to leave you? That's the big distinction. My girlfriend left me because she said something regarding on my podcast, and she said, "Why are you lying?" Even to this day, I can't remember specifically what was said, but whatever I said, just assume it to be true. If you think I'm talking to multiple women, just assume it to be true. If you think that I'm cheating on you, just assume for it to be true. I would rather you think with absolute certainty that I'm doing exactly what you don't want me to do, and you can remove your headache, and then you've acknowledged that, yes, I am a man who can acquire multiple women if I want to. I'm a man, even just this past weekend, I was at the bar and I was talking to women. They were talking to me. There was some sexual tension there, but I didn't act on it. But even with that being said, it's because I have the capability of being able to attract the opposite sex. Anyway, I think I also said something about, I think we were talking about children. And I said, "How many kids do you want?" Because there was this one situation where her cousin, at one of her uncle's aunt's house, there was a birthday party, and her cousin, within the first 5 minutes of me sitting down, they're like, "What are your intentions with my cousin?" And regarding my girlfriend, and I said, "Oh, I want to give her 5 children." I just said that. I don't know what bullshit test that I was gonna say, but really, whenever a woman shit tests you, or a woman's friend or a woman's cousin or sister, and they ask you as a man, "What are your intentions with my relative or with my friend?" you might as well just tell them what you think they want to hear, because at least the way I said it, I'm like, I want children with this woman. This is a very good woman that I'm with. Also, because our gene pool seems to be very optimistic, and that would be pretty awesome for our kids if they had scholarships or they went to college and all that shit. But that's neither here nor there. And with that being said and done, I said something that she didn't like, and she didn't. And normally, she doesn't ever want an explanation. And she asked me as I was trying to explain to her. She said yes or no, and I said yes. And let me dense because I can't quite remember what we were talking about, but it did have to do with children, and if I had to knock up another woman because she can't give me children, something along those lines. It was something misogynistic, something sexist, something bigoted, something fucked up, at least in her eyes. It's not like women aren't out here having different baby daddies or baby mamas or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's not like women are not being hoes. And long story short, all I said was, if you had a man that told you, I'm going to give you everything I possibly can, I'm trying to give us the best life for our future children, the best life for you to be with me. Also, I got to make sure I cover myself and take care of myself, because if you decide to leave me, well, that's going to suck. And so if like you're trying to take away the shit that I've earned, that I've built, yeah, I'm going to be fucking upset, but it's about being prudent about my actions if her and I are gonna expand together. So with that shit being said and done, I told her, if you had two men here exactly like me, one that said I would never cheat on you and the other one that said I might cheat on you, and they will give you the exact same life, do you want the one that will never cheat on you, but the one that says he won't cheat on you but does cheat on you, and you find out that he did cheated on you? Do you want that man, or do you want the man that says, yeah, I'm probably going to cheat on you at some point with some girl, probably on a boys trip, or when you're not here, and or whatever, but just know that me cheating on her doesn't change the way of my affection or my love to you, right? It was like a handshake. You know, if she sucked my dick or we had sex, it's a handshake. It's not big of a deal. Like I'm still coming home to you. Do you want the man who lies to you, or the man that comes and tells you to the truth? And her response was, I don't want to be looking like an idiot. And I'm like, well, I'm just being a man. She's like, well, what if she cheated on me? I'm like, oh, I would leave you in a heartbeat. It's disgusting for a woman to share herself with anybody else. Anybody else. That's disgusting. That's like the number one rule that women will never understand. Men can cheat on another woman and be perfectly fine. A woman cheats on a man, that's when the man leaves. You can't do that unless you're a cuckold, and I'm not a cuck. So long story short, after all this shit is said and done, on the drive home, she drops herself off. I drive home. She sends me this big ass long text that I didn't even read. And this is what I believe is one of the perfect breakup songs that you can give to whatever girl that you're dating, whatever fiance or wife or left you. And it's a Luke Bryan song. It's very, very interesting. The song is Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye by Luke Bryan. And in the first few lyrics of the song, it goes, all we do right is make love, and we both know now that ain't enough. Hold on, where the fuck is it? All we do right is make love, and we both know now that ain't enough. Ain't gonna beg you to stay, ain't gonna ask you what's wrong. Ain't no reason running after something that's already gone. That's what I said to her. She gave me this very perplexed, complicated reasoning of why she's leaving me and all this shit, and all I sent to her was those lyrics. Ain't gonna beg you to stay, ain't gonna ask you what's wrong, ain't no reason running after something already gone. All we do right is make love, yada yada yada. What I'm saying is, she didn't respond to me after that. I know she read it because I sent it to her pretty immediately. And I told her explicitly. I told her within the first 3 dates, hell, even the first fucking date that we had, is that if you leave me, all I'm going to say is I'm going to miss you, take care. Cold. Justin Waller style. And it's true, and it's worked. I have no desire or interest to chase a woman that does not desire to be with me. And I say this, and I've said it before when we first started, when we were just getting to know each other. I told her I can only be with a woman that desires to have sex with me. When you tell that to a woman, it's going to change the dynamic of how she perceives you. Meaning, I don't want half-ass sex. I don't want you to even think about having sex with another man other than me. She has to be so lustful that she only wants my dick. And with adding a caveat, me giving her my dick is a privilege. It's a privilege for her to get my dick. And once she realizes that, The ball's in my court, and the ball will always be in my court. But even her as a woman who chooses to submit to me, she still, of her own volition, has choice and mutual decision to leave me. Submission isn't an illusion, and submission isn't incompetence. If it was, I'd be an idiot for being with a dumb woman, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is her choosing to submit to me and her choosing to be with me is of her own mutual choice, her own mutual decision. Excuse me, I had something up my nose. I don't have a gun to my girlfriend's head and saying, you have to be with me. You have to accept the man I am. You have to accept the fact that I will probably cheat at you at some point. May not be now, may not be later. But just know that the option's always going to be there. And no, you cannot cheat on me in any way, shape, or form. Because the minute you do that, I'm done with you. Right? And there was a particular period where when she broke up, I think it was a week or 2 weeks. If I cannot, I think it was 2 weeks. Sunday, Friday, like 2 weeks. And she texted me. She's like, hey, can we talk, pretty much. Condensing the conversation we had, because she initiated contact with me, now realizing, acknowledging that I told her I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to block you on Facebook. Hell, even to this day, we're not friends on Facebook. But those are for particular reasons that with my podcast, people tell me to go kill myself and fuck off and that I'm an idiot. I don't need that shit on my girlfriend. I don't need anybody going into my girlfriend's DMs and doing that shit. That's safety out of her own protection. Nobody needs to know. But with that being said and done, I find that the whole reason why we got back together was because she acknowledged that what I said was true. I wasn't going to chase her. And there was a particular part in the conversation that we had. She says, well, I would have appreciated if you would have sent me a text to see how I was doing. Something along those lines. And I said, no, you're no longer my concern. You're not my girlfriend. And you left me. You chose to not be with me anymore. In any relationship, and I am no dating coach, I am no relationship coach. All I'm saying, in any relationship, in any relation, let's go back to basic biology. A mutual decision, a mutual agreement is a 50-50 to 100%. If it's with one person's in and the other person's out, it's not going to be a mutual decision. If one person is in and the other person is in and it's 100%, 50-50, that is a mutual decision. And I believe in relationships that are in dominance and in submission, where she follows me, I put her on my wing, I take care of everything, I make sure that she feels safe. I'm not relinquishing her ability to make decisions. I'm diminishing her ability to make decisions. So all she has to do is just be present and follow my lead. That is what dominance is. She is choosing not to be in her masculinity. And with my particular girlfriend, I find this very interesting. And I've dated multiple girls and multiple girls at the same time. But in terms of being in a relationship, when a woman does a lot of masculine things, such as changing the oil to her car, or helping her parents move stuff in and out of the shed, or mowing the lawn, or changing your air filter, or maybe helping dad with a what are they called? Like a John Deere lawnmower, shit like that. She is taking on a masculine role by proxy because, let's say, her parents are old, or let's say someone's disabled, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe because if she has a brother, the brother is just refusing to either do that and help the parents, or he's just not there, right? He's off living her own life. Every woman that I've dated who has a sense of alpha female vibes, they don't want to really be there. They're only there by proxy. They're only there because they've been conditioned and condensed into that particular position based on their upbringing. Even the women that I know personally who are alpha females in male-dominated industries, I find it interesting because in their personal life, they generally do not want to make decisions. They just want to be with a man that cares for them, that makes them feel safe. They'll cook for them, they'll clean for them, they'll sit around, just watch a movie. They don't want to be enacting all these big decisions in their personal life. Professionally, yeah. But when that carries on to their personal life, that's where you need a man to cut that bullshit out of them. So as I'm progressing back into this relationship and she asked me, and I knew it was game over. I knew the ball was in my court. She'll probably listen to this. She says, it's not fair that you're putting our relationship out into the public. Actually, that's what I told you on my podcast. With you or without you, my podcast is going to be here. I'm always going to do the podcast. So you don't have to be with me because I'm going to say the shit that you tell me. And let's say I changed the dynamic as if I was a comedian. Let's say I was at the Laugh Factory or the local improv making jokes about our relationship. You wouldn't even appreciate that either, but you have no choice. I mean, you do have a choice, but it was my sister calling me. Anyway, every woman needs a man, even if it's your sibling. I'll just say that. So one of the things that you have to put in place very directly, and you don't have to be a dick about it, is letting them know that if you want to be with me, these are the boundaries that you have to follow. These are the boundaries that you have to respect. And the blueprint to making a woman desire you is to be a man of your word. Follow through with what you say that you're going to do. Now, there are certain situations and conditions where you can't, just because of the domino effect, but be a man of your word. And me not chasing her and her knowing that when I told her that I would not chase her, it was game over. She already knew. Like after 2 weeks of no contact, which I believe every man should not contact your ex or your current girlfriend that's no longer your girlfriend or fiance that broke up with you. No contact. It's no longer your concern. I actually enjoyed this, and you don't have to follow me this. I don't follow my girlfriend on Instagram. I think we have a Snapchat together, but we are not even friends on Facebook because I have no interest in what's going on in her personal life. Because at the end of the day, when she is telling me, I just want to be with you and sleep with you and wake up next to you, it's game over. Now, here's another catch. I find this very funny, and it's a good thing to have. When a woman's texting you that she just wants to be with you, it's a good indicator that, one, not so much that she's clingy, but you are creating the desire effect. You have the desire effect on her. She doesn't want to be anywhere else. It also goes to show that if you tell her, and these are good indicators of a good woman, is when she's at work and she wants to come with you and she starts telling you, hey, I'm at the store, do you want me to bring you anything? Those are good indicators of a good woman. Really good indicators of a good woman. And I'll tell you this was something that actually surprised me. She came over one time and she asked if I had eaten. I said no, because I intermittent fast every day. I eat very late at night after I work out. And she asked, hey, what have you eaten? What do you want? I said, give me Panera. She says, what has your sister eaten? What does your sister want to eat? The fact that she was considering like my sibling, because I live with my sister, that right there is just another good indicator of a good woman. However, just because those indicators of her of a good woman, that doesn't mean that I'm not willing to break up with her. I told her I would rather have peace over pussy any day. There have been times where she's trying to throw it at me and I'm like, no, go to sleep. Or like, no, I don't want to. I've rejected my girlfriend to let her know that it's not just about the sex. It's about the peace of mind that I can have with her. She's not nagging me. She's not giving me shit for whatever reason. Women like to give shit for no reason. One, it's a good indicator that she doesn't do that. And if she does that, it's generally out of misunderstanding. But moving from there, during her breakup, and she was asking me, do you still want me? And I said yes. And the ball was in my court. It's just like if you flipped the roles, and the man wants to be with the woman, but the woman doesn't want to be the man, so the man does the chasing, and the man's like, well, I want to be with you, and she says, well, I don't. Well, that's the whole purpose of no contact. When you don't contact her and she realizes, wow, I developed a genuine connection with this person, and now I don't have it because I chose not to be with this person because of whatever that was said. But when you're a man of your word and you don't block her, you don't unfollow her, and it's actually much easier if you don't follow your girlfriend or whatever on Facebook. But even with all that said and done, and you have very minimal pictures, you have nothing to reflect on. Nothing, absolutely nothing, and that's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. So moving on from there, as we've progressed, I told her, getting back with me, I said, if you leave me again, I'm not doing this again with you. I'm not going to take you back again. You have to choose to be with me. And it also goes to the fact that I've never mistreated any woman that I've been with. I've never been like emotionally abusive, spiritually, physically, psychologically. And there's a difference because there are men that take advantage of women. I've never taken advantage of my girlfriends or any of my girlfriends. I've never been that type of person. And if you are that type of man, well, fuck you because you're a piece of shit. But going on from there, I find that she realized how much or how good I treated her. I just told her something that I believed in, my perception on having kids and if it was with another woman and cheating. And along those lines, she just didn't agree with it. And I said, okay, that's perfectly fine. She could have said something so cliche that you will never find another woman like me. Who said I want another woman like you? Yeah, it hurts. No matter how many good indicators of you having been a good woman and a good wife or anything like that. Yeah, it hurts. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. But I'm not crying to you. I cry to my boys. And I said that. I said, the first people that you cry to is your boys. You don't cry to your girl. Because she could have called my bluff. And it really wasn't a bluff. She could have called my bluff and saying, he's going to chase me at one point. Or I could have went back on my word and then texted her a week later, hey, how are you doing? She wouldn't have respected me. I tell my girlfriend all the time, I'd rather you respect me than love me. As we've progressed since that breakup and gotten closer and whatnot, I'm still true to my word. Because there was something that she said that even ignited the desire that she has for me versus that I have to her. And I know she's going to listen to this and then this is going to be a whole fiasco, but it's much easier to have a relationship when the woman desires you more to the man than a man desires the woman, because it creates an imbalance. If she would have said, you'll never find another woman like me, actually, well, considering now's dating market, it's not that hard to find a woman, and most women are promiscuous. My girlfriend is no way promiscuous in that fact. It's pretty obvious, which is good because I don't want a promiscuous woman. I want her to be clean and pure and not have a lot of sexual partners. I am the only daddy and papi that she will ever have. But even moving on from there, I've learned that there was a particular part in one of our many conversations that we have. She said, if you don't start advancing on me, it's going to turn me off. Oh, God. That is all I needed to hear. When a man pulls back from sex, a woman gets two indications. One, he's not sexually aroused anymore, or two, it's another woman. When a woman pulls back from a man, and I'll say this, even if it's another woman, it's because he is falling in love with a woman, as opposed to a woman pulling back. And we always know that the woman says, oh, I'm on my period, or I'm just really tired, I don't feel well, I'm bloated, I'm full, whatever bullshit reason that a woman has that she doesn't want to give sex to a man. I find that when a woman pulls back, it's because it's not even a sexual or physical connection. It's an emotional connection to another man that she no longer has with you. And that's perfect. That hurts more to the man than the woman. Because if I have sex with another woman, it's like a handshake. It's not a big deal. It's like, all right, cool, wham, bam, thank you, man, see you later. But one of the things that when she told me that if I don't advance on her more, that she's going to get turned off, that's even better for me. That means she wants me to be more sexually dominant with her and manhandle it in a way where she can enact more into her submission. And there are certain hidden innuendos that you can use to make her say, oh, you want this? When you smash your woman, when you please your woman, and you tell her while you're bending her over on the bed and you're going ham as a motherfucker, you can make her say, tell me it's a privilege to have this dick. Who's Poppy? Who's daddy? Tell me that you only want this dick and no one else's. When you start dirty talking to her, after she's explicitly told you she needs you to advance more on her, bro, it's game over. That's it. Who else is she going to go to? Because if she goes to another man and does that, she's going to be perceived as a hoe. I've also learned another thing is, and I believe this is where it should be really important for you. You should have open discussions in terms of sex with your partner so you can find out what precisely she does or does not like. So for some women, they don't like biting, they like nibbling. For some women, they don't like licking, but they like smooching. For some women, don't touch their ears or don't spank them in a certain way. Some women don't like clitoral stimulation, they just like penetration. When you can have those open discussions, and I've learned the best times to have those discussions is precisely with like after sex, because once the dirty deed is done and everybody's in the most relaxed state, you could reflect on what just happened. There was a particular time with my partner, with my girlfriend, that she said something that she didn't get off. And I said, okay, well, you're giving me a lot of false indications. She said, what do you mean? You are tightening up and pushing me out. You're contracting your vaginal wall so it feels like you're tight. You're also arching your back in a particular type of way where it looks like you're having a climax or an orgasm. And in certain scenarios, she's squirting in said areas. But because every woman reacts different to a climax, and with the plenty of women that I've been with, that those are really good indicators reading her body language. And I said, you know what? Everything you give me were just false indicators. All I need you to do, because maybe it's not even hitting the G-spot or the cervix, or maybe it's not just going as deep as you possibly can, or if it's in the lotus position, or in the fetal position, or in the prone bone position, maybe it's just communicating to her exactly what she wants. And again, if you can't read a woman's body communication, then simply all she has to do is tell you 4 things: harder, faster, slower, softer. If she could just tell you those 4 things while you're smashing and nothing else, it could be in the same position, it could be in one position, it could be in multiple positions. If there's a particular position that you find out, because I put my girlfriend in many positions, and it turns out what I would thought that she would get off on, it's not, because she's giving me these false indications with her vaginal wall. What I'm saying is that all she needs to do is tell me faster, slower, harder, softer. That's it. And when she tells me keep going, don't stop, all right, that's all you have to do. Men aren't that complicated. And I tell her this time, I saw this particular video where a woman says she's been married for 6 years and she's really happy and all this shit, but she has to ask her husband for a hug. She has to ask her husband for validation. She has to ask her husband for certain things. And then the guy, I think he was a divorce attorney, and this was on the Steve Harvey show, he says, well, you married a man. If I go to another man, I tell him, hey, bro, you good? And they say, yeah, I'm good. They're like, all right, cool. Because that's how men communicate. Women don't communicate like that. They want you to read their fucking minds. And I ain't a fucking mime. I ain't a mind reader. So with that being said and done, I just told her, then all you need to tell me is faster, slower, harder, soft. Just tell me those 4 things when we smash, and I will do it. It's not that hard. And men, you don't have to put so much pressure on yourself trying to get a woman off. You just have to Just tell them to tell you exactly what they want. Game over. That's it. Awesome. Great. Done. So, with that being said and done, and creating that desire blueprint. And as you know, you have to be a man in your word, and you have to communicate, and you have to set the boundaries in what she can or cannot do. Bear in mind, she can leave you at any time. You don't have a gun to her head saying that she has to be with you. She just can choose whether she wants to be with you or somebody else. That's fine. Minus the fact that she had asked me to advance more on her. I also find that doesn't sacrifice her being in her femininity. If she ever gets to the point where she's giving me a headache and I don't have the energy for it, I told her I would lead her. I'm like, if you ever make me sacrifice my peace, I would leave you in a heartbeat. I love peace over anything any day. And a lot of my friends and my mom, my sister, my grandmother, they all tell me, oh, she's a good woman. Don't lose her. I'm not scared of losing her. If it means it sacrifices my peace, I'll find another girl. And the girl doesn't even have to be as pretty as my girlfriend. She could be uglier than her. But if she gives me the very good traditional qualities of peace of mind, I'm perfectly fine with that. I could fuck a pretty girl, an OnlyFans thought, or TikTok thought, no problem, who's on a BBL or fake tits, who looks like a Barbie doll, get in, get out, get off. All right, that was fun, but I wouldn't marry the bitch. The fuck I wanted to do that for? I have to show you guys what I mean in terms of peace over everything. So let's go ahead and get into it.
She's not younger than me, she's not skinnier than me, and she's not prettier than me. Then why couldn't it just be me?
Because she's softer than you. She's quieter than you. She doesn't yell at me. She doesn't call me an idiot or tell me to shut up all the time. She listens to me. She's nice to me. She doesn't make me feel like the only thing stopping her from being happy is me.
That hits home a lot because I've been in relationships where they call me an idiot. They tell me to die, go kill myself. And I don't know why. I was being young, dumb, and full of cum that I stayed with those women like that. But looking back on that, I have no desire to be, no matter how pretty she is, no matter how wet the pussy is, to be with a woman that treats me like that. And I tell you, men, you shouldn't be with a woman like that. If you have to sacrifice beauty for a good woman, do it. Do it. I assure you. I assure you, even if you could sacrifice beauty for a good woman and you cheat on her with a hotter woman, the beautiful woman's going to be like, oh, well, that's understandable. She's pretty hot. Like a woman will understand. A good woman would understand that if she's not as attractive. But he said it right. She's softer than you. She's kinder than you. She's not calling me an idiot. Women are the masters of emotional abuse, and men are the masters of physical abuse. Once you let that sink in, men act out in anger and rage if they can't get their way. Women will get inside your heads and make you act out in anger and rage. Think about that. And that's why me and my girlfriend, we don't have arguments other than that one time when we broke up. We have a lot of discussions, but in terms of arguing, I don't have the energy for that. There are certain times where I tell her, stop reading into it. Just say yes. Just say yes. Just stop thinking too much into it. And so I can tell you this. It's much easier to have a woman that wants you more than you want them, because it creates a integrated relationship where you're in control. Most men are with women and the woman's in control. She says jump, he says how high. It shouldn't be like that, in my opinion. Because a woman's submission to a man is one of the most sexy things that they can do. And I said this, 7 steps to a man's satisfaction: sex, silence, suction, sandwiches, submission, status and the fuck was it? Status and steaks, right? She has to learn how to cook. And it's really not that hard. Nothing has to do with monetary value. I remember I saw another video where this girl was like, "Oh, with my husband, I cook, clean, I cook, I clean, I suck, I fuck, and I shut the fuck up. That's it. That's all you have to do." It's a lot more blunt than the way I say it. I think my 7 steps is kind of more funny, but you have to look and realize, is it worth the fight to be with a woman? The pussy can't be that great. She can only suck dick so many ways or ride your dick so many ways. You can only fuck. There can only be so many positions. But is it truly worth the fight to keep over a piece of pussy? In my opinion, it's not. So, anyway, guys, that's what concludes today's segment. I hope you really liked it. Make sure you hit that follow button, hit that like, catch me on Rumble, TikTok, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, all that good shit. And if you have any questions, concerns, you know where to find me. And until next time, guys, stay tuned. Take care.